10. Okay, so we have the speakers for today is Dr. Muhammad Shamrie Sainin. Okay, he's a senior lecturer from Universiti Malaysia Sabah. Okay, so he will be delivered a talk about the best programming language for AI. Okay, so before we start, I would like to introduce a little bit about Dr. Shamrie. Okay, so Dr. Muhammad Shamrie Sainin is from Faculty of Computing and Informatics, Universiti Malaysia Sabah. Okay, so he is the experience, working experience is from the tutor from Universiti Utara Malaysia from 2000 to 2001 and become a lecturer on 2002 until 2017 at Universiti Utara Malaysia. Now from 2017 onwards, he is a lecturer at Universiti Malaysia Sabah. Okay, so he has a very vast experience in teaching artificial intelligence, knowledge discovery in databases, machine learning, programming in logic, programming Java, C++, data structures, object-oriented web programming, okay, like PHP, JavaScript. So he also doing a research on the machine learning, okay. So his past research on the machine learning, assemble learning, pattern recognition, text mining, and now he is currently working on the machine translation, native speech recognition. So at this moment, he holds the one FRGS grant, okay, which is related to the children's speech sound disorder recognition. Okay, for your information, he was one of my former lecturer during master degree. All right. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Shamrie to deliver his talk. So please welcome.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Thank you for the introductions from Halmi. And yeah, welcome. Good morning, everyone. Without further delay, I'd like to introduce a little bit about the topic today. Okay, so which is the questions of the best programming language for AI. So this is actually quite tough questions. So because the questions is what is actually the best programming languages for AI? And I am actually not the one who is very credible to answer the question of what is the best programming language. So because we have more experience than me, but so this is for the what we call sharing sessions on the previous work that I have been done related to the programming languages for AI. All right, okay, without delay, I'd like to, so this is the best programming language. So initially, the question is, yeah, what is the best programming language for AI? So that is the questions that always been asked with by previous students, okay, for example, in FYP probably. Okay. Yeah, if we look into the Google, for example, try to search for the what language for AI, what language for artificial intelligence, you will get one, probably the most popular language that provided. So this is directly actually directly the answer for the questions. So what is it? So it is a Python actually that is the most popular now for the artificial intelligence. So why is that? So because the things that we have many applications that uses them, many packages. Okay, in fact, there is a support in this language. Okay, so if you type what language AI, so in at least in Google, so there is lots of for example, in this the language. Okay, so what language for AI? So that the first one. Okay, and then after you click on that, so Python will be the first produced in the search result. Okay, And so the trend, okay, if you look at the trend of these questions, what language for the artificial intelligence in a Google trend. So look at the, okay, for example, I searched for from January 2004 until the latest one is until January 2021. The peak for these questions or for this related system is on September 2020. Okay, what language would artificial intelligence? So this question is for example, 100. Okay, meaning that 100% is the most popular questions of what, okay, for example, terms that is the most searched in the Google, okay, during the September to 2020. Okay. All right. Before we continue on answering the questions of what is the best um, programming language for AI. So we look at the background of the AI itself, where the state or AI state of the art. Okay, so artificial intelligence actually is not new. So it's way back before even, okay, for example, me born. Okay, for example, in 1950s. Okay, artificial intelligence in 1950s started in 1950s, where that artificial intelligence is the any technique that which enable computers to mimic human behavior. So that is the researchers are starting to search for the how to represent the artificial intelligence, how to represent the human intelligence. Okay, and then going up to 1980s, so that start machine learning. Okay, so machine learning AI technique that will again mimic the ability of human to learn. Okay, so that there's more and more algorithm, and then after that, starting from 2010, the deep learning, the deep learning itself invented. Okay, meaning that it's popularized the deep learning. Okay, which make the neural network, for example, multi-layer neural network feasible, and also can solve even more complex problem. And what we have here in this overview of the AI, okay, in computer science. So we are actually in the computer science, and below the computer science, we are forming this artificial intelligence, where we have two types of learning that they mostly we have in artificial intelligence, where we try to solve the symbolic learning and also the machine learning itself. Whereas in this symbolic learning, we have the computer visions and also robotics. Okay, so because why is symbolic learning? So because we are going to represent the knowledge. Okay, for example, how do we represent a ball? Okay, how do we represent a car? So that is symbolic learning. So because that it would be related to how we represent the knowledge and also the result, and also how to solve this probably the computer vision, also robotic. And any machine learning, like I said before, the machine learning is actually a study on the algorithm, okay, where it uses statistical learning and also reinforcement learning and also deep learning. So this is the basic the machine learning, okay, where in statistical learning we can use the statistical learning for speech, for NLP, okay, or even in NLP, okay, for example, in myself now, I'm doing this native machine translation, where I'm going to, okay, for example, translate Malay to Kadazan Dusun, for example. So I'm going not only statistical learning, but the learning, the other learning that related to this NLP, and also reinforcement learning. So this again, reinforcement learning is not new. Okay, and deep learning. Okay, so because now more and more people now are looking into the deep learning. So for example, in my faculty staff, everyone I think interested in doing the deep learning. Okay, in deep learning, you can do a convolutional neural network and recurrent neural network. Okay, for example, in myself, I'm going to use gated recurrent neural network. Okay, which is can be used for the speech again, and then in CN can be used to this computer vision and also object recognitions. So this is overview on what actually, before we are going to look into the programming. Okay. Now, yeah, because before we are going into deep on what is the suitable programming language, so I'm not saying that one is the best programming, okay? So other to the others, so because it will be depend on what kind of application that we are developing. So the first of all, we have the background where in AI definitions, okay, definition one is a branch of computer science, okay, which we can create intelligent machines. So this is again intelligent machine. So intelligent machine, we are going to use the programming and also the algorithm, okay, that behave like a human and think like human and able to make decisions. So these are things that we are going to do, okay. So in programming the artificial intelligence, and also in definition two, the theory and development of computer system that able to perform tasks normally requiring the human intelligence, such as we have this visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translate between the language and many more. Okay, there are lots of other things that that we consider that we need human intelligence. We transfer that intelligence into the machine. Okay, and as usual, we need to see this, or we need to understand these four views of AI. Okay, because when we are going to develop the system, whether we want a human performance and also the rationality, and whether what is the capability of reasoning or behavior. So because in human performance, we are going to use the artificial intelligence whether to think humanly or think rationally, or acting humanly or acting rationally. Okay, so meaning that that the first row is related to reasoning. So meaning that we are using the AI to do mostly on reasoning, but on the second row it is behavior. Okay, so behave like a human. Okay, so how do we make an artificial intelligence applications that behave like a human? And in this sense, it is rational. The system is rational if the system or the application that we are going to develop is the right thing. Okay, meaning that given what it knows, so meaning that it's involved providing the prior knowledge, and the AI or the application would use uh, the application, okay, or the knowledge. And next, if you're looking at acting humanly, the most popular test is related to Turing test, where in 1950s, for example, this human interrogator will try to understand or try to guess whether this human interact with human or the AI system, or both. Okay, so this is in 1950s computing machinery intelligence, where can machine think, okay, and also can machine behave intelligently. So meaning that if the computer passes the test, meaning that it 1/3 of the human interrogator, meaning that cannot tell whether the written response from persons or not. So this is the most popular test on the in traditional AI test. Okay. Similarly, in acting humanly, that it is the Turing test or the Sterling room. Okay, meaning that it try to understand and model how human minds work. Okay, and Turing test suggested major component. So, okay, for example, this in the Turing machine. Okay, it is a major component of AI that will be used is the knowledge representation, and then we need this automated reasoning, natural language processing, and machine learning, all part of this. Okay, where also we need the cognitive science or focuses on how people think. So that is, for example, a cognitive tutor for mathematics. Okay, and about the thinking rationally, okay, that it uses this symbolic logic. Okay, so that's why in any of the courses on artificial intelligence, we will start with all of these knowledge representations, including the logic. Okay, even for example, it is a propositional logic or predicate logic. okay, where it captured the laws of rational throughout the thought as a symbol that can be manipulated. So it not be meaning that symbolic logic not be in for example in the language or in terms of image, but it's a symbol. Okay, it's what is a symbol that we represent to the algorithm. Okay, meaning that in the reasoning there would be involve this manipulating the symbol according to the well-defined rules. Okay, and also the result is the in terms of model human reasoning. Okay, meaning that how human think and reason in the ideal world. So this is the things that thinking rationally. Okay, meaning that even though that there is not complete knowledge that provided to the system, but the rational decision can be provided by the system. Okay, so in a rational case, for example, Socrates is a man, all men are mortal, therefore Socrates is a mortal. So this is a very simple knowledge that we probably we can provide, and also the system will provide based on what it knows. Okay, and again, doing the right thing. Okay, so the right thing, it is because it is expected to maximize the goal achievement given the available information. Okay, so that's why many of the AI system will not or not capable to answer everything. Okay, but if we, because the knowledge is too broad, okay, and we need somehow doing this certain specific information so that it can focus on that. Okay, but there is a for example, these applications, okay, you know that the robots, okay, what is that? But I don't remember. Okay, never mind. Meaning that it doesn't necessarily involve thinking. Okay, for example, this irrational is a blinking reflex, but thinking should be in the service of rational action. The rational, where, okay, for example, we are touching the hot glass, and then the rational should be keep our hand away from the hot element. So this is actually applied in the rational agent. And then again, we look at this, the AI tree. I believe that this, if you are learning AI, okay, we can see this image okay, many times, okay, that the AI tree, meaning that the AI is actually supported by many background, okay. So we have the linguistic, okay, psychology, philosophy, electrical engineering, management and sciences, computer science, and many more. And then in the branches, we can have neural networks, computer vision, intelligent tutor, expert system, natural language processing, genetic algorithm, speech understanding, and many more. There are lots of other things like yeah, the new things and the modern things. I think we need to update this AI tree by now. Okay, so I hope that someone can update the tree. Okay, probably. Okay, right. Little bit of history of AI. That in 1943, the evolution of AI, artificial neuron, okay, the neuron, okay, meaning that human or the researchers looking at how human solve a problem by using the neural network, for example, and then proving the artificial intelligence through this Turing machine, and after that, birth of AI. And the first chatbot, so this is a chatbot, okay, from Eliza, okay, and then first intelligent robot, first AI Winter, okay, for example, in this, and then after that, expert system, okay, and then yeah, between that, we have a second AI, okay, and then after that, IBM Deep Blue, 2002 AI in the home, okay, on that Romba, and now you can purchase that even more cheap. Okay, IBM Watson, okay, Google Now, chatbot, Eugene, wins against the Turing test, and also Amazon Echo, and there is a lot more nowadays. Okay, happening nowadays. I mean that it's after 5 years now, and then after that, after probably 10 years after this, there are lots more happening in AI. Okay, I think again this is the concept. Okay, early days. Okay, which is the neural network. Okay, Boolean circuit model human brain. So this is the first, and then after that, that's why it is we are interested on the deep learning right now. Okay, and also going into this. Actually, this is in 1952 to 69 already tried to develop this the automated car, and still nowadays we are still on doing that, and it's some progress. Why? Because for example, in the Proton X50, you can look at the how this car will park itself. Okay, and also and then after that, we have the development of AI. Okay, there are lots more development of AI until now. Okay, and then we become into big data. Okay, the emergence of big data and deep learning and many more. Okay, and now what? Okay, so the question is now what? The AI actually is extremely broad right now. Okay, considering that what we have today. So because in today's, we are storing more and more data, okay? Not only data, but then applications that will require more and more sophisticated AI applications. But before that, how AI applications are defined? So that is, again, the questions. What characteristic of AI applications that we are going to use or develop, and what applications are, how AI applications are designed? First, define, and also how it is designed, okay? And then after that, how AI applications are developed and also programmed, okay? And then in that sense, the questions again, what language to develop AI applications? So for example, here, of course, this one, define, design are related to the software engineering itself, okay? Probably mostly goes into the software engineering, okay? And also how application develop in program, okay? And then it would goes into this is what language to develop the AI. And before that, the core fundamentals of AI, again, okay? So because in order to develop an AI, we need to look at the background. What is the knowledge? What is the knowledge that we need? Okay, and then how do we represent the knowledge? Okay, and with the knowledge, what reasoning or inferencing that we are using? Okay, and also problem solving methods. Okay, how do we use the problem solving? So because in AI problem solving, there are lots of problem solving methods that we can use, like because there is in AI, so we are talking about space. Okay, from in a space we can have this initial state. Okay, and also we have next state, and then the sequence of state, and after that the goal. Okay, and then searching the best problem solving is again is a problem that we need to identify in the AI. Okay, actually it's not simply okay, I want to develop the system, the AI, and but what knowledge, what problem, and then all the including the capability of problem solving that we have. And also in these perceptions, okay, how do we interpret? So because interpretation again is different from human to human, where and then after that acquire and then select the appropriate all of the requirement, and then organize the sensory information. So mostly we are talking about the agents. Okay, so agents here is not agents that is doing all things, but agents that in terms of in a computer that we program so that it can perceive from the environment and will provide decisions based on what it has. Okay, and in applied, okay, within this core fundamental, we have a learning. Okay, the learning is again is very broad. Okay, major things that again come up with the AI, and also planning and scheduling. Okay, if it's involved, and also manipulating objects like moving objects, moving from it's not only moving object, but for example recognizing this object. Okay, and also classifying, okay, and so on. An important component to intelligence system, okay, is the most important component is the two. Okay, I'm not saying that it's yeah, the most important, but it's a basic things that we need to understand. Where the first one is the representations and also the reasoning. Okay, the first one is the mapping of environment of the agent into symbols that can be manipulated. Okay, for example, representation of board. Okay, for example, we are going to intelligent detector, but this detector is already been solved years ago. And for example, okay, for example, in the detector, how do we represent that into symbols? Okay, and also reasoning. Okay, manipulate symbols to make decisions. Okay, that is the how do we decide moving in the detector. Okay, and there's a lots more in this intelligence system. Okay, and in method involved. Okay, so this is we are talking about the basic basic AI. Okay, that what could be things that useful in AI. So moving from the knowledge, okay, and then also the reasoning, we move to this. Okay, for example, in knowledge representation engineering. Okay, and also knowledge engineering, actually knowledge engineering. How do we represent the knowledge? How do we get the knowledge? And how do we organize, okay, the knowledge? So that's why we come up in AI topics and in AI subjects that perhaps we have the semantic networks, okay, propositional logic, first order logic, rules, graph, game trees, and many more. Okay, so that one of these represented can be used into object oriented, can be used into predicate logic, and so on. Okay, so when we have all of this, we have this reasoning and inference. Okay, using because we have facts. Okay, we have facts. So meaning that whenever we have this system, we are able to meaning that the agents or the program that we are developing can accept or can receive input from the environment. Okay, from the environment, meaning the sensors. Okay, even okay, for example, intelligent temperature control, for example. So meaning that the sensor would sense and receive the input. Okay, meaning that is from the sensory. Okay, and make decision. Okay, whether to increase. Okay, so because that is a very basic problem solving that always been taught in a class. Okay, okay. For example, whether to increase the temperature or lower the temperature, or somewhere in between. So now it maybe would involve on other things like, for example, fuzzy logic or anything, right? And then also in this reasoning we have deductions, inductions, model exponent, resolutions, and etc. So all of these are would say that it is important in general AI. Okay, in general AI, and also in verb searching. Okay, depth first search, breadth first search, A-star algorithm, or even more advanced searching from the space. Now the questions, so what language to develop AI? So I will talk about traditional AI programming language, and then after that, modern AI language and AI platform. So because these three have been exposed into this traditional AI programming language, and also a modern language that we have now, and also AI platform. So what is AI platform? So I will talk about just a little bit about that toward the end of this talk. All right, so traditional AI programming language. So we look at this approach, okay, more on the solving the symbolic AI, okay. So example of the programming language is, for example, in 1950 to 2008, ILP, Information Processing Language, way back in 1956, LIPS, 1958, Smalltalk, okay, Prolog, okay, have been learning extensively this Prolog together with a CFO of, I think, Mr. Wan Hussein is here, okay, and yeah, I remember this during our degrees that doing this prologue. Okay, and then C++. I'm teaching the C++ now, fundamental C++ for the undergraduate, and also data structure using C++, and Java. Okay, and AI/ML, artificial intelligence markup language 2001. So these are some of the traditional programming language that we use. Prolog, there's a little bit introduction of Prolog, programming in logic. Okay, so this is the how it is invented. Okay, in 1977. Okay, my birth year, together with Mr. Hussein. Okay, and also 1988. Japan on this year is using mostly on Prolog. But what is the future in a Prolog? We will talk about this later on. A little bit about this Prolog. So because this programming language is mainly used to define what do you call that? A basic, okay, in any artificial intelligence courses, okay. That it is we have a declarative and also procedural. I'm not going to discuss in depth this, okay. Just that the Prolog. So because this is mostly used in artificial intelligence and the traditional programming language, okay. And we can see that the syntax is quite differ from the other programming language. So because it is clause form, okay, on that, okay. For example, in this normal Ali eats ketupat. So that is this normal Ali eats ketupat. This is a natural language processing, okay. And in logic, it is eats Ali ketupat. So that is representations of programming that say Ali eats ketupat. So we have predicates, and also the we have to we have here the Ali in ketupat in here. An example too, everybody likes to eat fried chicken. Okay, so we have this quantification. So we have this for all X, like eat X. So X meaning that now is applied to everyone. So anyone that is will have we can instantiate. So everybody now it is a variable. So this kind of representations of the language or the knowledge representation is the probably general enough. Okay, so again something like this. Okay, syntax Java and Prolog. Okay, that okay in Java we have all of this class hello. It's based on this, and when we want to execute that, it's only simply something like this. Okay, and then in Prolog, a little bit different. Okay, meaning that we have main. Okay, so this, and then we have this result, meaning that the output. Okay. And in Prolog versions, there are lots more the versions of Prolog actually. There's Arity, ALS, Quintus, Esther, Prolog, LPA, Amzai, Edinburgh, Visual, Strawberry, and many more. Okay, just to give you a little bit about the LPA Prolog that we use. So this is from our slides somewhere between 2000 and 2003 in the when we teach this course in UUM, okay, together with Mr. Hussein at the time. Okay, we talk we teach programming language Prolog programming for the undergraduate and also for postgraduate. And I think Mr. Helme also in one of my student in the class. All right, yeah, in SW this is all versions. Okay, so it's traditional. Okay, the basic GUI. Okay, not like nowadays we have visual IDE and so on. So this is Strawberry. Okay, the name itself is delicious enough. Okay, and nowadays when I teach AI, okay, probably AI, and then I would like to provide a little bit example on the predicate logic. So I will be using as the Prolog, which is an online compiler. And this is, so because nowadays is based on the online, we can save online. So this is in the cloud. Okay, and this is sample application with Prolog. Okay, some times ago. Okay, I think during in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, we are developing games, something like this. So this is a game presentations. So this like, all right, you are staying in your room, you just woke up, and then now at AM you have examination, you have to be hurry up. So before you are going out, so you need to look up the item, okay, and then if so you need to provide many things in this. So this is a game, okay, and then Prolog for AI finding. So Prolog, look at that. Prolog becomes more and more unpopular. Okay, in 2004, of course, okay, we are using mostly this Prolog for teaching. Okay, but then now and some I think is programming. Okay, applications. And I also have developed at that time interfaces between Visual Basic, okay, and with Prolog, okay. And nowadays it becomes less than, I think, less than 10%, okay, of the mainly we use in teaching, okay, not being used in industry anymore, okay. So Prolog compiler, we have LPI Pro. So mostly we use the LPI Prolog on that time. Okay, graphical IDE, very support for expert system. Okay, we have data mining, CBR, fuzzy logic, web, but it's very expensive. Okay, we try to at that time in UM, we try to apply for new versions, but because of the cost, it's quite expensive, very expensive. Okay, and so that we come up with the using the available software on the time. And SR Prolog command line, still command line. SR Pro is still here, command line support and updates as 2020. And also Strawberry Pro is still here. Okay, the GUI free, middle, professional license, and we have ID and also GUI. And online compiler always using the Swish and also JDoodle, which is the Prolog, okay, mainly for the teaching. And just to share the things that we have developed in some times ago, we have in 2003 student project Prolog, okay, expert system, shell, expert system shell, prototyping Pro, and also expert system shell as an educational tool. So meaning that it can use a knowledge base. So look at that room KB, meaning that we have a knowledge base that provided in the file, and then the system can load that, and then we'll try to provide question and answer based on the questions and also input from the user. So this is actually was developed by MSc IKBS student on that time, 2003, Chua Min Hoi. Okay, I think she's in one of the university in KL right now. Okay. Other project using different languages. Okay, I have this GLT algorithm, the human key optimizations for searching. So this is from Java 2003. We have a student project, Visual Basic, which is a priori. A priori is for the mining the relational. Okay, and then machine learning education tool for the Java. Okay, so this is my I start this applications during my master degree. Okay, and student project online product recommendations. So this again it was programmed using Cold Fusion on that time. Okay, 2003. Image recognitions is quite hard actually to develop the image recognition on during this time. So because we have a limited samples. Okay, we can do that on the time, but because again skill is we have a skill on programming limitations, so that's why it quite fail on that time. Okay, at least for me. Okay, and then in 2005 the human classifier with Naibayer. So this is mostly on that, data mining. Okay, text mining, and also in 2009 we are using this live image recognitions. Now in this we can have a little bit support in in image recognition using Java. So this is example on that. Okay, this is genetic algorithm. Okay, we can program all of these concept of generation. Yeah, we can have the population crossover and many more. Okay, student project Visual Basic. So this is a Visual Basic a priori. Okay, so this is by student Nur Fadila Tahar. Okay, using this AI runner. Okay, a Bogot a priori. Okay. Okay, for example, you can see this if someone by sauce, okay, meaning that that it would be a tomato will be okay, tomato then a sauce, or chili sauce, cooking oil, sweetened and so on. So I think the representation is not quite, you know, it's not quite right here, but we can have, okay, for example, the implementations on the example AI programming. And this is machine learning educational tool. Okay, for example, here we provide different algorithms that the student can select and learn. Okay, so this is very much like Weka, okay, implementation of Weka, but most in depth, okay, than Weka. We will show the step-by-step implementation, for example. Okay, so this is in 2003. Again, in 2003 by the MS KBS student, okay, on the time in UUM. So this is from Muzia, okay, using Confusion online product recommendations, okay, doing this product, okay, and then recommend something, okay. So this is again is online. So look at that, meaning that from standalone Java, so far we have a standalone applications. We can use Java. This is the traditional, okay, and then after that we move to online. So meaning that online we have this web-based, okay. So because in 2003 we can actually do this ASP during that time, okay, and also PHP and Confusions, okay, right. And also that's why in 2003 we try to do the image recognitions, okay, looking for meaning that yeah, of course there is an application that can do that, okay, but for example MATLAB and so on, but we are trying to develop an application on the time, okay, that people can run, okay, but because of the limitation of the skill and also resources in that time, so this is a fail during that time for me, okay. And also in document classifier, so this is text mining. Java can one of the language that versatile, okay, meaning that we can do database classifier, okay. And also in 2009 leaf recognitions, okay, in Java, okay. I took these images, okay, and also doing the programming, okay, and translate this image into points, okay, for example. And then this data, okay, for example, in this data will be used to classify or recognize this image, okay. In 2000 we can do that, but for the number plate recognitions is still not capable to do that during this time. Okay, and also this again the training. So we need a neural network, okay, and also we have a nearest neighbor metrics again. So this is during my PhD. And also compared to the neural network, that you see that we can do a little bit about the visualization here. Okay, so seems like Java is one of the good language for I think from yeah, from back then until now is still being used in AI. Okay, and also this is my findings. Okay, so far. Okay, until before 2009, Java among the mostly used language to create AI applications. Okay, even Java now is being used as the mobile applications. Okay, if you develop a mobile application, at least for the Android, so meaning that you will be using the Java. Okay, and there are quite number of packages that we can use. And also in machine learning, okay, we can apply neural network, we can apply genetic algorithm, robotics, mobile applications. like I said before, and also various libraries, but not at convergent AI language before this 2009. Okay, but nowadays I think after 2010 it will become more and more um, one of the language that still being used to represent or in artificial intelligence. And also during before the time we can use ASP or PHP, okay, web-based intelligent application are still developing on the time, okay. And also little bit about this modern AI programming language. The question is why modern programming language? Because we have the advancement of computing power. Okay, of course, this is more and more apparent. So because nowadays we can buy computer that is powerful enough. Either it is a CPU or GPU. Okay, we can have the GPU if you are gamers guy, or you know what is GPU, okay? Graphical processing unit. Okay, and then if you want to be powerful enough for the gaming and also processing, you will be getting a more and more powerful GPU. And also we are moving into a Web 3.0 to somewhere Web 4.0 or 5.0 or something else. Okay, this mobile computing becomes more and more advanced. Okay, even with the cloud computing now. So because we are not really into physical storage anymore, but we are doing this cloud computing. So that's why we have the services that offered, the AI that offered through cloud computing, and also wearable computing. Okay, for example, now we have this, for example, these watches now. Okay, we can wear, and we can that wearable can detect many things. Okay, even can provide. You can do something with the wearable. Okay, and also we are talking about big data, data sciences, okay, and IoT, and also platform. Okay, so this is what we have here, the era. We are, because I give this in this slide because we are going into web. Okay, web. We are talking about web right now. So I think AI applications in the future will more on the web. So web web technologies, we will be embracing more and more in web technologies. Okay, for the artificial intelligence. So that's why in Web 3.0 there is software agents, semantic web. We have a producer, we have a consumer, we have a producer, automatic agents. But normally we are in this producer. For example, myself, I have this wearable watches. When I run, I store in the Strava, for example. Okay, many of us are consumer, and then okay, Strava, for example, would do mining. Okay, and then after that, probably like sell our data to someone else. Okay, we don't know, right? Okay, I'm not saying that probably this, but the data that is not including our personal, okay, for example, meaning that data that is okay, what is the day that they always we going to exercise, and many more. Okay, and five top AI programming language. Look at this. If we search in the internet, okay, 5 top AI programming language in 2020. Okay, first of all is a Python. Okay, and next Lisp. So Lisp is actually way back programming, but still being top AI programming based on this site. And also next Prolog is still being used. Okay, but then like I said before, it's mostly for the applications of teaching. Okay, and next we have a MATLAB. Still MATLAB is being used. Okay, but then because of MATLAB, it is only for the simulations. And we cannot probably develop the full applications of full applications in a MATLAB. And Java, we can have neural network, search algorithm, and so on. The verdict will be Python, okay, from this web. 10 best language for AI, take India, so Python, again Python. Okay, so now more and more we know that the best probably the best language for now is a Python. Okay, and then after that, our language. Okay, and also Java. And after that, we have the JavaScript. Okay, so we have, because some JavaScript, we are moving into these web technologies even more. That's why people are producing this Node.js, TensorFlow, and also Dialogflow. Okay, Prolog still broadly used in academy. Okay, Haskell, Julia, C++, AIML, so the verdict again Python. Top AI language trained in 2020. Okay, again Python, R, Java. Okay, Java is still there, Scala and Rust, the new programming languages. And again, from web sensor, Python, Java, JavaScript, R, Go, so all of these are programming. Okay, that is, and Python is the, again, listed as number one. Based on this, again, Python is the first, and after that, come up with Java. Okay, so now we understand that what is the best programming language for AI right now. Okay, so but it again depend. Okay, if we are doing the standalone, so we can have that certain programming language. If we want this web-based, we can have, for example, web-based programming languages. Okay, and then after that, maybe we can hybridize two languages at the same time. Okay, the things that I will talk about later on after this. Okay, but again, no definite answer for what best for AI projects. So because again, that is depend on the type of applications, small or the size of the applications. Also, programming language created with different requirements and considerations. Okay, factors to consider. For example, scale. Okay, proof of concept, small application, large deployment. Okay, and also budget. Whether you will be looking into the software and also hardware, and then finally, and then after that, platform. Whether you are doing a standalone, cloud, web, or mobile, and also skill. Okay, you may not, if you don't have skill for the other programming languages, for example, you are not going to use that. Okay, and so this is our experience. Okay, a chatbot. Okay, using the for example, web-based JavaScript and also Dialogflow. So this is from in our group. Okay, by Dr. Suraya. Okay, mostly into a chatbot previously. Okay. And again, our experience, tech language translation system. So this is my own project. Okay, projects of in the faculty. Okay, and translations from Malay to kata Dusun, for example. Of course, the for the first version is using word sequence. Okay, but then in the second phase of the project, we implement deep learning translation with PHP and Python. So that's why here. Combining or hybridizing two languages at the same time. So again, that is the one of the possibilities of what languages. So because that's why there's no definite answer of what could be the programming language that is important, okay, or the best. But again, this is still in development in our project, okay, in my project. Okay, web-based speech recognition. So again, this is a combination between web, PHP, and also Python. Okay, I record the speech, a voice from web. Okay, and then send the data to the Python, and Python will give back the probability. Okay, for example, the probability recognitions. Okay. So here, for example, I represent Isa, for example, Isa is 1 or 1. Okay, so the probability for 1 is 0.9, which is higher. So, but we need more data to represent this kind of symbolic learning. Okay, and number plate recognitions nowadays. Okay, with Python, quite easy, very easy. Okay. So what I have failed in Java previously, meaning I can do this in a few lines only in Python. Okay, so why? Because there's people who are providing the packages. So now it's not, yeah, okay, for example, this is my car number previously. So it can be predicted the license plate 100%, but some of the things because of, we need more processing here. So again, the image processing is still involved. Okay, in this case, for example, in this GWT 2180, okay, is 2180 is predicted is 2780, which is the recognition is 86.0. Okay, and now findings: selection of programming language where depends on project type, platform deployment, support, scale, and cost. Okay, so of course, software now is it's quite cost, but Python is free, so you can do that. Okay, rapid development, but the Python is rapid in my experience. Okay, rapid development, but however may slower during the runtime. Okay, even probably if you are using the deep learning, for example. Okay. Our course experience, hardware for implementing Python with TensorFlow. Okay. Currently, okay, for example, GPU-enabled notebook. Okay. If you are doing the TensorFlow, GTX 1650 is 4,000. Okay, or similar, and probably I will get this GPU. Okay, but then you know, look at that. For the GPU only for the RTX 3080, for the implementation for the TensorFlow is almost 4,000, and also if a complete system, it will be more than 7K, or if you are getting 3090, so it will be more than it come up with 10,000, something like that. So I add platform. So this is I go to the last probably going to the few last slides. AI platform using machine to automate AI process, predefined function and model to implement related AI tasks in a framework. Okay, and then involve hardware or software that allows better organization, faster and accurate decisions. Okay, platform. So this is example platform. Now this platform is you need money, you need to invest. Okay, but then there is a Google. If you want to just provide testing, so you can do that. Okay, but then if you are creating a full system, you need to pay of that. Google Cloud, TensorFlow, IBM Watson, Amazon AI Service, Microsoft Azure, okay, H2O, Infonia, and so on. I have the experience a little bit about this Microsoft AI workshop from Microsoft Malaysia, from Microsoft a few months ago. Okay, so this is ML service. Nothing is free. Okay. Right, so we have this, for example, in that to recognize the woman holding a phone, confidence 37.8%, and so on. So this is in Microsoft Azure. Okay, Jupyter, still again using Python. Okay, and this is the platform. Case study. Okay, for example, Sabah code to make history. In AI, the sentencing using AI. Okay, I'll let you answer this one. What applications of AI in this case could be the CBR? Okay, how to acquire the resources past cases, how to represent the resources. Okay, and then what would be the language that is more suitable to develop this such system? Okay, and take home quiz: what language would you use to develop expert system, AI games, optimization, robot? Okay, web-based recommendations, and also mobile-based recognitions, or whether this is a speech, image, and etc. And for that, I think that's all my sharing today. I'm not the best person to actually to answer this, but this is my experience so far. So I give this back to Mr. Helmi for the
Okay, thank you very much for Dr. Shamrie for the interesting talk about the AI programming language. So it seems that there are a lot of modern AI language that is taking place to replace the Prolog and Lisp. All right, so there is two questions in the chat. Let me read the question for you. First question is, what are the possible implications if programmer only apply certain Prolog compilers to run modern AI for semantic web?
Prolog, using Prolog, is it?
Yeah, Prolog.
Using Prolog, and then for the semantic?
To run the modern AI for semantic web. Semantic
web, based on my searching, the Prolog actually has there is a work where in Python actually, that to use this Prolog actually, Prolog and also with the Python. So there's interfaces on Prolog and Python. So again, you need to look into these two packages. There is, I think I have gone through to that. And for the semantic, of course, Prolog, it has the best capability. Okay, so because it has the capability of declarative representations, and yeah, so that's why if you are using just a Prolog, I think that can be done. Okay, for example, you are using Prolog only to provide the output. Okay, and then after that you use web. Okay, for example, to get the output. If you are not using the mix of Python and also certain packages of Python and Prolog. There's a Python Prolog. Okay, you can search from that. Okay, what I have done previously is, okay, if I cannot match, if I cannot use this, because this is my experience in previous applications. Okay, for example, during the in 2003, we don't have much resources. Okay. We are using this, I'm using this Prolog, okay, to run and then create an output, okay, output that we want to be, yeah, certain output. And then that output, okay, we developed this in this PHP, okay, or other programming language, other representations of system that can read the output. But there is two works that involve. But again, if you have this Prolog, okay, and also Python Prolog, okay, probably you can do that in the same time. Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So we have another 4 questions.
Yeah.
So briefly, do you think that AI analyst is in a high demand in Malaysia?
AI analyst.
Yeah.
AI analyst or even data scientist. Okay, so because nowadays we have these terms of data scientist.
Yeah.
Okay, and then after that, in AI we have an AI analyst. So probably AI analyst is not quite popular compared to the data scientist. Okay, so data scientist is again has a capability on AI itself. And I think given the scenario right now, we are moving from, yeah, you know, that's previously we are, you know, looking into this industrial revolution 4.0 and probably in the future. And I think more and more of these data scientists will be, that's my predictions, okay? Data scientists or even AI analysts, yeah, we can say that this is a data scientist will be required to analyze the data and so on. Okay, yeah, I think that's only my view, right, for that.
All right, thank you. I would like to ask if our current web right now is web 3.0 or 4.0.
As I see that, I may not into that web technologies in depth, okay, but then we are actually in the, okay, like I said, so if I go to the slide, here is my slide, that, hold on. That our web right now is, okay, this one. Yeah, web 1.0. Okay, if you look at this, 1.0. Web 1.0, web 2.0 is 2010 and 2010. Okay, web 3.0 is 2010 to 2020. So this is a predictions on this during this semantics or information connections during that time. And yeah, we're still in this web 3.0 because we can see that we have a distributed all of the semantic databases. We can develop the semantics. We can develop the we can enjoy these images, sound together, and then also all the applications. Okay, and also web OS, and after that we will be moving to the web 4.0. I think for me, we're still on the web 3.0. Okay, meaning that for web 4.0 is more like intelligent personal agent, but we already have that actually right now with Google. Okay, so because you know, when I have this phone, I want to know what weather, so I just say Google, please tell me what is the weather for today or 10 days after that. And I think it's at the end of the web 3.0, and then we are moving after this web 4.0 right now actually. Okay, this one.
Okay, all right. So next question, what are the language is suitable for fundamental programming course for AI or data science?
Okay, so that is a good questions. The fundamental programming. So because AI itself has a very broad meaning, like I said before in the slide. And we normally in the university, we start from, some start from Java. Okay, some, for example, in our university in UMS, we start with C++, no? Okay, and it depends, okay? But for the AI, it's a mix, okay? We can start from Java, okay? So because Java has okay, we have this capability of moving from standalone and also mobile, okay, and also we can have this after that we can move to Python, okay, but yeah, I would say Java, but Java is object oriented. Okay? Some of the students are always scared of this object oriented. Okay, for me, you know, programming language is just programming to represent something. When you go into a different programming language, you will know that there is similarity between the language. So I think for me, I think Java could be the one of the possible programming language for the starting. Okay.
Okay. All right. So there is another question.
Yeah.
Can I hear brief explanation of ASP and PHP, and which one is suggested for a student who want to learn?
Okay. Right. ASP is not it's a traditional, it's a classic. So ASP is now being replaced by the you know, the the PHP.NET, sorry. And also okay, between this ASP.NET, PHP, okay, and also the other programming, okay. Mostly it depends if you are using Microsoft based server, so meaning of course you need to go to ASP.NET. But if you are going into free, okay, for example, this server and also the database, so meaning that PHP, and also PHP is I think is quite good. Okay, and also because nowadays I also the applications is developed using PHP, and yeah, PHP has much simpler, I think. Okay, right. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Do Azure is only used in image recognition, or there is more to it?
No. Okay. Microsoft Azure is can be used with based on my workshop previously a few months ago, I think in September. We can have image processing, speech recognition, control system, controlling, meaning the control, for example, a control representing intention and also summarizations, okay, some sentiment analysis, and also what we have, translations again. Okay, so there, I think actually Microsoft Azure is very big, and there are lots of things that inside there, which is I haven't tested actually, and we only test this speech, image recognitions, and also this the intention, okay, meaning that the intent pattern where in a home-based application, like okay, turn off the lights, okay, or turn on the fan and so on. Yeah, there are lots more. Okay.
Okay. So this will be the last question. Is there a fee for ML application Jupyter?
Okay, Jupyter actually is a platform, or what we see, that's the IDE. Okay, Jupyter, meaning that you download the Jupyter, you know, the Jupyter is it's only a test IDE that you are using. Actually, it's not a full-fledged program for me. So because when you want to test something, okay, in the in the Python, so meaning that you download, either you go to the into that for example, a notebook, okay, and then type something there, or you download that, okay, into your own local host in your computer, and then do that, okay. But then if you are going to provide or develop the system, the full system, okay, meaning that you need an IDE, okay.
Okay, so any other question from the audience?
Any question?
Any question? So if no, so thank you very much for the Dr. Shamrie for the very interesting talk about the AI programming language. And then I hope this will give some insight, give some ideas to all the participants regarding the development of AI and choosing the right programming language. And I just have one last small question for you regarding the Java and Python. So since Java is already there for a long time, and then the Python came after that for this kind of application that support the IR 4.0. So basically, is it the Java and Python is compete each other, or there is a complementing each other in terms of development of the software?
Yeah, okay. In that sense, competing is one word, okay. But then, complement.
Yeah.
Yes, because again, it is depend on the again, like I said before, it's a skill, okay, and then the scale of the project. So between this Java and also this Python, okay. So because Java we can use into mobile, okay, and Python we can use into other things, okay. So meaning that I think it's not competing. So it's would be if we cannot, okay, for example, and I would say it's something like this. If we cannot develop this into this platform, or this this platform that we intended, so we need to provide another one, okay, like I said, the Android and also for the iOS, for example, okay. So probably not competing, but to support each other. So because now we try to best to reach for the user, okay. I think that's my view.
Okay, so thank you very much for the answer. So if there is no questions, I would like to thank again for the speakers and all the participants for attending. And then I hope we will get some benefits on the talk in the future. Right, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Okay, thank you,
wabarakatuh.
dan thank you, and assalamualaikum.
Salam.